All right. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm going to call up YouTube to get the chat window going here also. Go live. And we'll go to manage. Oh, I have one I thought coming up on Sunday. I guess not. And back to here and share screen. And the live stream. And there we go. We have the chat window now in the stream running. The stream elements is running. Yes. Thank you. Now we can minimize this. Or take it right off, I suppose. And enlarge that screen. There we go. We've been on live for a minute and a half. And stream elements came on like right away. Okay, I have to go to share screen. What the heck's going on here? Oh, when you shut that down, it's gone. So I'm going to put that back up. I guess I have to minimize it and not shut it right off completely. Sorry, guys. Let's go to the Go Live section here. Manage. And bring this back up. And then just simply minimize that. And go back to the window and say share the stream. Minimize that. There we go. And we are back in business. Okay, learned something new there. Oh my goodness. How are we doing tonight, guys? It has been a long day for me. I went to the dentist clinic and got a cleaning done. I am super surprised on how fast tartar grows on your teeth. And I brush twice a day. I guess I have to floss a little better is the problem. But still, I'm surprised at how fast tartar gets built up on your teeth. And if tartar is on there, I guess you can't take it off yourself. I don't know if there's any tartar removal methods. I'm sure the toothpastes and things don't work because in the dentist clinic they use like a machine, a drill kind of affair, or a vibrate, or whatever the little pick is that they use. It's not just a pick; it's an electric thing, or I guess they're powered by air. Electric motors probably couldn't turn fast enough. They have to run by air. Stream elements kicked in now, which is good. And it's up on top there. So that's cool. Now, just a little bit of explanation on the picture in the background there. Can't see much of it. It's my hand on the rocks on a wall from Chichen Itza. Now, that wall is at least 2,000 years old. Anywhere from 1,500 years to 2,000 years old. And it's amazing how when you, I guess how susceptible you are, but when you touch that rock, it's like you can feel the people that put it there, like the Mayans. It's quite an amazing thing. And Chichen Itza is the temple, uh, Poctopok game area, um, the cenote of where they would put children, sacrifice, human sacrificial areas. It was an honor to be sacrificed for the Mayans, so they didn't fear that at all. To them, it was one of the biggest honors you could have is to be sacrificed. People would strive. Now in the game Poke, that's where you hit the ball with your hip through the hoop. I don't know. There's so many conflicting stories, and I don't think nobody really knows who was sacrificed. Whether the winner, one loser, uh, a team. I don't know who was sacrificed, but there was sacrificial because of the game, and it's even carved into the rock when you look at the stadium there, which is about the size of it's the biggest one there is. It's about the size of a football field, and you can see some guy kneeling, carved in the rock. You can see him kneeling down, and he has no head. And there's these lines that are coming out of his neck, which is the blood, signifying the blood uh, to like go on the land. And that was an honor to be sacrificed for playing the game, poke the poke. So anyway, that's what the picture in the background is from Chichen Itza. Put my hand on the rock there to feel the vibrations or whatever have you of 2,000-year-old rocks that people put there 2,000 years ago. It's simply amazing. Sharon, hello there, sister. How you doing? Nice to see you pop in. The, yeah, it's tomorrow's the day. I don't know what. Too bad I couldn't get a hold of you. Um, my WhatsApp is weird for phone calls. I can't make. Yes, I can. Sometimes I can't. It all depends. I guess I can't phone Canada at all uh, with like 1-800 numbers. You have to change the number to 1881 or 0011. A 1001881 is like a 1-800 number, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I have problems with that anyway. But I can chat through there, no problem. And because I don't use Discord except on the Mondays, I don't go to Discord at all to you look and see who's messaging or anything like that. So it's hard to get a hold of me on there. I rely on YouTube and email. So if anybody or my Mexican phone number, if you can phone it or text it, um, email, like I'll answer my emails. You can get a hold of me through YouTube also by going to any of my videos and then making a comment below. I read the comments. So sometimes that's how I communicate with other. Work got in the way. You're drawing blanks in that. Yeah, it's hard to think of something, and it all depends on how you had kind of plans on doing that on the day of, which is tomorrow. Uh, was it a video thing, a live thing? That's enough. They don't have that in Mexico. They have a day like that in Mexico, but I think it's in either October or December, but a little bit more serious here. So it's weird. And then they have another day where they have a bread, like loaves of bread, and then it's cut into little sections. You take a slice out of it, and if it has a little baby in it, they put little plastic or whatever baby in the bread. Pan is bread, and if you get one of those, that's a big deal. So more serious, more serious. Yeah, I don't know. Um, in Mexico, like if they uh, cheat you out of money, you get to keep the money. You don't just say, "Oh, that was a joke," and give it back. You keep it. So whatever joke or trick you can play on someone, that's it. It's been played on you. So that's what it's they don't have it like tomorrow. They celebrate Christmas the same day we do. We do it's the same day as probably all of North America. Christmas on the 25th. New Year is another. Well, they celebrate New Year on the same day, but a little different. I forget what the name of it is, where they have leftover food from the night before, or is that a Christmas thing? I think that's New Year's. It's called a certain. When you go to a friend's place or you go out, you get leftover foods from the night before, and that's the best meal or something. So you look forward to that. So that's one thing they also have. When I was going back and forth to my dentist appointments, uh, the driver, I got to know the driver very well. He knew like 6 or 7 languages. Broken broken English, broken French, broken German, but at least he understood. Like you could have a good conversation with him at least, especially in English. He was pretty good. I don't know how fluent he was in other languages, but he would tell me all these things on how the Spanish have certain words and sayings, and he says in English or in another language you don't dare say those things, but in Spanish it's okay. Uh, they say some things that are pretty degrading to women in English, anyways, but it's the Spanish don't think nothing of that. And I said, well, I would never say that to a woman in my country. It's not like the B word. It's even kind of worse than that. But yeah, yum, leftovers. And I don't know what the leftovers are. It's certain foods too that they have. And when you go to your friend's place or when you go out somewhere or you visit somebody or somebody visits you, you got to have this leftover food that you cook lots of the night before and you eat the night before, but you make sure you make lots of this so that the next day you have this leftover food, leftover meal. There's a certain name for it too, and that's the part of Spanish I don't like. The grammar part is and how you use certain words, like to say you're sorry, for example. Uh, in English, I don't know. There might be other ways, but you just say, I'm sorry. Whereas in Spanish, you can say "lo siento" is "I'm sorry," "disculpe" is "I'm sorry," and "perdón" is "I'm sorry." And they all have different levels of. One is like a more stronger, like oh, I flew your drone into the wall and smashed it. I'm sorry. There's one of them, one of those I'm sorry ones that really mean a lot more than just, oh, sorry, I bumped into you. Or, yeah. So you got to know which one you use. It makes a difference. And certain words for different things, like I would use one word for something, and then you say, well, you shouldn't use that word. It should be this one. Means the same type of thing, but um, a different word. So it's the grammar part. And there again, I kind of mentioned that uh, in Cancun anyway, in other cities not, but in Cancun anyway, you don't really need to learn the Spanish. Quite a few people know English anyway. So when you talk to them, they know enough English to communicate. So I kind of got left behind. I didn't study my Spanish because I didn't really need to, so I didn't. It was a real hot day today too. I went to the dentist's office. I went to the clinic for the last time just to get a checkup to see how my teeth were doing. And I'm surprised at how fast tartar builds up. I do brush. I brush twice a day at least. At least I'm good about that, as I never brushed before like that, but I do now. Floss, yes, but even still, uh, I went to the clinic today, out my mouth, and she says, "Oh, you have some tartar on the bottom. Not bad, but still, you have tartar buildup." So I got my teeth cleaned today, and then they were showing me how I'm supposed to brush. Well, if you brush your teeth that way, that would take you an hour just to brush your teeth. Like it's not just up and down, up and down, up and down. It's like if you're doing your top teeth, you go from your gums, of course, are included, not just your teeth, but your gums. You start above the teeth and the gums and brush down to your to the line to your the bottom of your teeth, and you do this top down, top down, top down. That's your top teeth, and then from the bottom, it's the bottom up, bottom up, bottom up, and then the inside is the same way, top down, bottom up, bottom up. So it's not just like up and down, up and down, up and down, and your whole teeth. I guess it's meant to get the particles of food out of your teeth, and then you should floss, of course. But it's more of a job than it is, well, for me anyway. But I am a lot better than I was years ago. Knowing that I had to get my whole mouth replaced, my whole 24 crowns replaced because I just didn't brush like I was supposed to. And it doesn't matter whether you have your real teeth or not. Whether my teeth are made out of zirconium, and tartar will form on anything. But I'm surprised. I was there 3 months ago. They looked in there and they said, "Oh, you have a little bit of tartar built up." They cleaned it off, and now 3 months later again. And like I said, I don't know if it's necessary to brush 3 times a day. At least twice a day is like morning and evening is should be you would think should be good enough, but apparently not. Maybe if you brush right after you eat, as opposed to I'll get up in the morning, have breakfast, and then usually brush about maybe an hour after that. In the evening, I'll have something to eat, or 6:30, 7 o'clock, but I won't brush until 10 or 10:30, or when it's time to go to bed. So maybe that's waiting too long. You should brush like right after you eat. I need to study more on that. You'd think a simple thing like brushing your teeth, but I gotta I gotta pick up and do a little better. And then Vicky from Hope Bus, she is a really good I don't know what the term would be. She does natural health stretches and moves and foods and healing and all that kind of things naturally, as opposed to taking a bunch of drugs or doing things like that. So she sent me a video with different stretches to do for diabetic neuropathy type to keep your spine uh, because you're standing up for 70 years and your spine people you've heard the saying where people get shorter as they get older. Well, so this keeps your spine more uh, keeps you elongated, more tall. So I'm trying to do those exercises. I didn't do it this morning because I had to go to the dentist real early this morning, but I am pretty good with that too. I do that before I go to bed too. I do those stretches, and I want to see after a few months whether I can like bend farther, do this farther, do that farther to see how I'm progressing, or is it not progressing like I should be, like stretching more. Like let's say when you bend over, like maybe I can only bend this far, but in 3 months can or 4 months or whatever time can I now bend farther over? That would be one of my goals. So I made a video of when I first started, and we'll see in 2 months, and then in 3 months, and then in four. I'll do it by monthly, and keep videoing it and see if I'm actually getting any better at that. I got to keep. I've had 2 operations on my back already for sciatica, the down your leg, and it's just my left leg is the problem. My right leg is no problem. It's my left leg. Even now, I have um, not so much bad pains in the legs. Like before I got my operations, I had like knife stabbing pains, like real intense. I was even limping at one point because that's how it was. And the thing is that the problem's in your back, but the where it hurts is in your leg, which is because it's pinching your nerve that runs down your leg, and that it's pinching the nerve that is in your calf or in your butt or down that leg. It all depends on which vertebrae is having that problem. And mine was the L4, L5. In both of those, L4 I had a operation on that one, and then 6 months later on the L5 one was poking in there. The stuff was coming out of the center of the vertebrae and poking right on the nerve. Why wouldn't it poke somewhere else? It's got to go right on the nerve. And I'll tell you, that is painful. And then they give you pills to kind of help with the pain, but that's just covering up the problem. It's not doing anything about it at all. Who wants to take pills for the rest of your life to deal with the pain? And then they say, well, do these stretches to stretch that nerve. I think that's a lie as far as I'm concerned. How can you stretch your nerve when something's poking against it? I don't know if nerves can stretch like that, like a muscle can. I don't know. I could be wrong, but you go online on YouTube and they all say stretch this, stretch that, and it'll. No, I don't know if I really know anybody in real life that they did that and that worked. But anyway, I did check out Ron Darrow earlier to see if he was on. It looked like he was on yesterday or this morning or something. And so if he would have been on, I'd have popped over there for a little while. But um, he is not live right now. Might be live later. I might go over there later and I'll have a look and see how he's doing. He's been popping up onto my lives quite regularly when he's got time and when when he sees that I'm on, and vice versa. I do the same for him. And another thing was the chat window on the side. Well, that chat window is good if you're going to edit your live streams, because that you take 1 second out of your live stream. Let's say you've made a mistake, or the very beginning or the very end or something, and you want to take a minute or two out, or even, like I said, even one. The minute you edit it, it changes it from a live stream to a video. And once it does that, any chat window on the side is gone. It won't appear anymore. So now it's just a video that people would go look at, and they'd see the host on there talking, and any other people they have on there. They could hear the voice, but they wouldn't know what anybody is saying, chatting on the chat window, because it's gone. So that's why I put the chat window on the stream itself, right here on the left, on the right hand side, so that if I do edit a live, it turns it into a video, but you can still see the chat. But I thought, how many of my live streams have I actually edited? One, I remember one I did. It was like 15 minutes of blank space at the front of the live stream. There's nobody in, and I even didn't even know I was on, actually. And so I thought, well, I'll take that 15 minutes off, or 10 minutes, or whatever it was, take it off. And like I said, when I did that, it turned it into a video, and there was no more chat. So I had to delete the whole thing because it's useless. That's why that chat window's there, so you can see what people are saying. Unless you bring up the chat, every single person that says something, and pop it on the screen, like for example, like that there. Now then you, even if you edit it, you would see that. I think on Sunday, I don't know, we'll have to see how many people pop in. I might do a what do you call it, slideshow on Sunday. I got a whole bunch more photos from when I went to Xcaret, and when I went to Chichen Itza. I have a bunch of photos from there. That would be nice to share. And let's see what we got here as far as, can we pull this? Oh, there, I got a little bit more real estate on the left side, which I can pull over. That gives me a little bit more space. That's cool. And the hand on the rock, that wall there that I'm touching is 2,000 years old. There's not much at Chichen Itza of the ruins that they actually let you touch it. I guess if you had available to touch, and there was that many people touring through there, it might get worn down somehow. Like when they had people going through the pyramids in Egypt. Well, it was just their breathing. When they walked through they would let them walk in the pyramid, in the galleries and things in there. I don't know if they stopped it now, but just the humidity from breathing, the people, thousands and thousands of people going through there, does things to the inside of those pyramids. And if you're able to touch something all the time like this, it would just wear. Unfortunately, if you want to go see history and things, it's you can look at it from a distance. And we are in, it looks like, yes, we are in studio mode and live preview mode. Okay. If I move the transition over, oh yeah, okay. I see. I can actually go to different transitions, add a layer if I like. I don't know how to use the actual slideshow that comes with um, EVMux. I've tried a couple of times, and I've even looked it up on YouTube. And how do you use the slideshow itself as opposed to me putting up one photograph and then another one, like my own slideshow? You would think a slideshow you could set up to put a new photo up there every so many seconds. You could be able to program it to however many seconds you want it to, a new photo to come on. And I haven't heard from Michael yet, who wants to try out his new video he's made. I should set up a private one. Well, then he has to be available. A private stream so that he can come on and then have a look. And then I don't have to send him the video. He can just watch it on the live. And then you can see whether he can actually see the chat window also, as opposed to having it up on the screen like I'm having here. And I could do that too. Then you can still read. Last time I think he said I can't read the chat. In StreamYard, that's true. You can't. You need to open up another session. You need a second device. Whereas EVMux, you don't need a second device. It'll just work on the one. I don't know if you have it in the paid version, maybe, of StreamYard, but this works with the free version of EVMux. So that's kind of cool. And they both give you their, pros and cons. StreamYard has, you can stream for 20 hours in one day if you wanted to stream that long, but you're only allowed 20 hours in a month. So if you do 20 hours in one day, your whole month, the rest of your whole month that's it. It's done. Hello, Vicky. Hi. How are you doing? Welcome in. Love you, sister. Um, I just did a plug for you about the exercise things. I was talking about it anyway. And what was I saying about StreamYard? Yeah, you can do 20 hours in one day if you wanted to do it constantly for 20 hours. But then that's it for the month, because it only has a 20-hour month uh, limit. Whereas EVMux has 30 hours in a month, but you're only allowed 2 hours a day. So if you were doing streaming 2 hours every day, well, in 15 days, you've got your 30 hours of your month, 30 hours in your month. Yeah, and I have been doing those exercises pretty faithfully. I couldn't do it this morning because I had an early dentist appointment this morning. Uh, they were even here earlier than my pickup time. They were supposed to pick me up at 8, and they picked me up at like 7 or quarter after 7. So it's a good thing I got up a little earlier. I was ready. Somebody pulled up I could see him out the window, and I said, "Oh, that guy's here already." And my appointment was on time. Roughly, it was about 8:30. My appointment, and I think I got to go in at 8:30, which was nice. Just to do a regular checkup to see how I'm brushing and flossing. I need to improve. I have like I said, I am super surprised at how fast tartar will build up on your teeth if you don't keep at it. And once tartar's on there, it's like barnacles on a boat. You can't just, you have to scrape them off. You can't just brush them off. They're on there. They're stuck on there pretty tight. So it's like tartar on your teeth. It's on there. So brushing won't get rid of it anymore once it takes a hold. I didn't have much in there, but enough that they could see that. And because when I went in, that's what it was all about, to see how I'm brushing and how the teeth are making out before I go back to Canada. Um, make sure that I'm brushing okay. So I had a small amount of tartar. So they explained to me how I should brush. I guess there's a method. You brush from your top teeth from your gums. Obviously, you brush your gums. That what keeps them healthy. From your gums down to your teeth, top down on the top teeth, and the bottom up, bottom up, bottom up. Not just up and down on your whole thing, or round and round, or however you brush. It's there. There's a method. It actually cleans and rebuilds the enamel. Well, unfortunately, I don't have enamel. I have a zirconium. My teeth are made out of zirconium. Maybe did the same thing. Oils are very good. I had oil of Olay. uh, I'll think of the name. It'll get rid of like I had one, a mole or something behind my ear. Oil of oregano oil, and I would put just a tiniest of drop on there, and then it would run down my neck a little bit, and it burns. Let me tell you, not at the moment, but if you don't feel it, but the next day you'll feel where, oh, that's a really dry area, it burnt there, but it got rid of that mole. Let me tell you, and that's potent stuff, and it works. And some people take it internally. You put a drop or something in your mouth, or maybe in what your drink or something, but you take it internally. I don't know if I do it internally. That's pretty potent things. My goodness. What I use is, which is good for your gums and stuff too, is boy, I'm having a hard time thinking of names. Everybody has it in their bathroom. Um, you mix it with water and then you gargle and with that. I use that too, as opposed to the ones that they prescribe to you. You're only supposed to use that for 15 days, otherwise it starts staining your teeth. And once it's stained, they're stained. You can't just brush it off anymore. And yeah, oil of oregano. That's the stuff that is. It all depends on what strength you get too. I had this, I guess, the strongest you could get, and it sure got rid of that mole behind my ear. But in the meantime, my neck was peeling away too, because it would run down. You didn't notice it because you don't feel it doing it at the time. But the next time you put another drop on there, you'd say, "Oh wow, my skin is dried out underneath there." Well, it's burning your skin off. Good for gums and bacteria. What's good for gums? I use coconut oil and clove oil. I've got a lady in my home city that she's into all these oils. Expensive stuff too, let me tell you. But she's into all these kinds of oils, and she gave me some of this oil of oregano to put on that. And holy smokes, like I was saying, it sure works. Yeah, it's nice when you can make your own, have your own. You just go pick some oregano and make your own oil of oregano and your own kind of whatever kind of oils. I looked up YouTube, several YouTube channels, and how to make your own oils. So yeah, yeah. All depends on um, how often you use that stuff too. I don't. I only used it on that one mole I had behind my ear here, and it was a dark colored mole. One of my friends said, "What's that dark mole behind your ear? That's not a good sign or something." And I thought, "Oh, I didn't even know it was there because I can't see it, right behind my ear." And how did I look at it with some nears or something, and I could see, oh yeah, and it was raised up. And like I said, it didn't take long. I put a drop on, and the next day the another kept going, and before you know it, it was completely gone. It sure did a good job. Go to yeah, escape the winter. That's nice. That's nice for sure. Uh, Mexico is a nice country, and all depends on where you go and what you do. Like now that I've lived here for this time, it's there are places you don't really want to go or you shouldn't go, and there are places where you should go. Um, Not that it's any bad or I my little city in Medicine Hat, there's 60, 70,000 people. There's places there you don't want to walk around at midnight either. Like I've had a friend that got mugged there. And I've never ever. I walk around here at night all the time. And there, I'm not afraid at all. I mean, that doesn't mean it doesn't happen or it can't happen. It just, I don't know if I'm fearless of that or what. But anyways, it's. But I'm going to regret when I have to go back home is the thing because I know it's going to be a completely different type lifestyle again. I go back to my own city. I'm going to have to move around more, like go to different cities, and I'd like to go across Canada again. Um, because if I go to my own home city and just sit there, well, I only know of because I haven't scouted it out, but I only know two places to park my van at night to sleep. And eventually, people notice you in these two places. They're going to say, "Well, what are you doing here at this place again?" Like time and time and time again. I was told that in Medicine Hat you're allowed to stay at Walmart, but not for long periods of time. So they still allow you to stay at Walmart there, but in some cities you can't stay at Walmarts. Like in Vancouver, for example, you can't park at Walmart in the parking lot at night. Even 5 years ago, when I first went there, you couldn't do that either. You could park on the street beside Walmart, which was a spot there, and there was vans parked there for 4 years, never moved. And Vancouver finally buckled down and they said, "That's it. We're not going to have these vans parked like this anymore." And it's not that I don't mind the small space to live in, like my van is pretty small space, but my body only takes up a small amount of space anyway. It's like if you live in a big house by yourself, in a big house with two bedrooms, a bathroom, a basement maybe, and a living room and a kitchen, y- your body only takes up so much space in that whole house anyways. It's the If you're sitting in the living room watching TV, your bedroom and your bathrooms and your kitchen is a waste of space. There's nobody in it. So I just made my living area smaller, living in a van. Uh, and I don't mind it. Some people would. I could never live in a small space like that. Well, for me, I don't mind it. You have to have that mentality where, um, yeah, going to is Indonesia or like I said, Turkey. I have some friends in Turkey. Um, there's a whole bunch of different places to go to. Really, um, my friend was living in. It's probably the, and when you go to Turkey, the language is English a lot. My friend said he doesn't have to learn Turkish. English is pretty, and the cost of living there is the same as in Mexico. The rent is about the same there as it is here. Internet and cell phone and stuff like that is dirt cheap. Medical probably is the same. You just got to watch in countries that you go. Make sure you keep your um, what is it? Your kidneys or your whatever they drug you and then they cut out one of your kidneys. You got to make sure. Yeah, eating in well, going to the grocery store in Mexico and buying groceries is almost like in Canada. It's the price. Some of the prices are pretty high. Mexico has changed for prices. Maybe not every city, but Cancun is the. But yet, the people don't. Well, here's a statistic, or here's something I learned the other day. The cost of living. I mean, the minimum wage. Let me just see if I can put this on here for you, just so you can hear this. I'll ask Google on my phone. What's the minimum wage in Mexico?
According to Wikipedia, Mexico, officially the United Mexican State.
I didn't ask that. What is the minimum wage in Mexico?
According to Mexperience, Mexico's general daily minimum wage rose on January 1st, 2023 to $207.44 pesos per workday, a 20% increase on the 2022 level of $172.87.
So they used to make 172 pesos for 1 day's wage. Now it's up to 207 pesos for 1 day. 207 pesos for 1 day. So, okay, Canadian. 207 pesos in Canadian dollars.
207 Mexican pesos equals 15 Canadian dollars and 54 cents.
So get that. 1 day's pay, minimum wage in Mexico is Canadian dollars, $15.55 in 1 day. In Alberta, the minimum wage in Alberta, here, I'll tell you what it is. What is the minimum wage in Alberta?
$15 per hour, according to some information I found on
$15 per hour in Alberta. And here in Mexico, the minimum wage per day is $15. So Albertans make 8 times as much money as a Canadian does in 1 day. Eight, or as a Mexican. 8 times. Minimum wage, I'm talking. Um, and still, there's a lot of people in Alberta that work for minimum wage. $15 an hour in Alberta as a minimum wage. And it's $15 a day wages in Mexico. And that's all of Mexico, not just Cancun. $15 an hour. Like, what? No wonder there's lots of scams going on. They're trying to make a living. How do you, it costs 400 or 4,000 pesos a month just to put your child in school. 4,000 pesos. And if they're making 15 or 200 pesos a day times, 5 days, 10, that's 1,000 pesos in a week. So 4 weeks, that's 4,000. They're making 4,000 pesos in a month, and it costs them 4,000 pesos to put their child in school. How do you pay rent? How do you have your food? How do you have a car? Like pay gas, have a life? Like unbelievable. Oh wow, that's one thing I love about Bali. Terry and I would live it up for 2 months and do all the sports, all sorts of things for $5,000, not including the flight. I know, and I mean, yeah, I understand about scams. I understood this for years already about their scams and how to avoid them and what have you. It's just that you feel bad because these people are trying to scam you because they need money. They can't live, and that's why they're doing it. And I mean, scams are not good to have it no matter what, but still, rent, the cost of living. Yeah, you can live, you can pay rent here, American money, anywhere from $400 a month up. You can find places for $2,000 a month American here in Cancun. So it all depends on where you want to live. If you want to live like you think like a king, you're gonna pay. It's just that's how much it costs. But if you want to live like a Mexican lives, you can live comfortably on $2,000 a month American money. So Snow Deb, how are you doing? Snow Deb. Now you see, I don't tell me, John. You said your name was John Smith, Mr. John. Yeah, Sharon. Holy cow is right. Uh, Once you understand why they scam and how they scam, you can avoid the scams. I mean, that's it's just that they see white people and they think you have lots of money. What you do, you have 8 times as much as they do that they earn. So I just need gas money yeah. And going back to Alberta, living in my van, I need gas money too. That's my rent. I consider that my rent. And if gasoline goes up or I move around a lot, that's my rent goes up. Yeah, I do. I did. I try to do it faithfully twice a day actually, like once in the morning when I get up and once at night. Like I said, I couldn't do it this morning because I had to get up early to go to the clinic. But I usually do it at night just before I go to bed. I do my stretching at night. And sometimes if I feel good, not sometimes, I have been doing, in the morning when I get up. I have to, I have to, um, what's the right words? I don't know the words. I have to set up a regime where what something that I can follow because I'm a lazy person and like even brushing my teeth. When I 10 years ago I got my whole mouth crowned and I stayed faithful to brushing my teeth for maybe a month and then I just quit because I don't like to brush my teeth and I didn't brush at all. So when I came here, they had to replace my whole mouth because my teeth my gums that were what my teeth were okay. It was my gums that were taking a beating, you know. So now you have to just make a discipline in your brain to say, well, I've got to do this, I've got to do this, I've got to do this, and then it becomes a habit. And that's the whole idea is to make brushing my teeth a habit so that I don't even have to think about it. I just know that it's nighttime. I sometimes wait too long after I eat my supper or dinner or whatever you call it, whatever you want to call it, your last meal of your day. I sometimes wait too long from then until I actually brush. I should be brushing like almost right after, um, so that the particles in there that are still in there don't sit in one spot like that for a period of time. I mean, if you can't get them out of there, that's when plaque starts growing. And I had a plaque already starting in 2 months. I'm surprised how fast plaque takes effect. And it's the same thing with the exercise. I have to set up a disciplined, which I don't like exercising. I just, you know, maybe if I was in my 20s and 30s and maybe 40s, I would do it more. But when you get older, you think, I'm lazy. I don't want to. I don't want to get up. I don't. Even if it's just like this simplest exercise, sit in your chair and do your stretch. Well, it's once you get to be 70, you might understand. When you're younger, you don't understand because you're healthy and you feel, how come people don't exercise? Especially elderly people. When you go to an old folks home and then they force you, they sit you, a whole bunch of you in it. Here, let's do some exercises for the day. So that's the whole idea, is to train your brain to not even have to think about it. It's time to do this. It's time to do this. That's the whole thing. And when you're used to not doing those things, it's hard to change your train of thinking to do that. And especially when you know that it's, when you stretch your spine, especially when you're having spine problems, maybe it's a good thing to stretch that area. Well, then even then, well, I suppose it's like a smoker. You tell a smoker to quit. It's not that easy to quit smoking. I know they did. I used to smoke years ago, and I would tell myself that, like a lot of people would say, well, I'm going to wait till I finish this last package of cigarettes, or I'm going to wait till I finish my last cigarette and then I'm going to quit. Well, that's the wrong attitude already. Don't even try to quit unless you really want to, and then quit. Just cold turkey. I don't care if you have 10 packages left. The whole idea is to, if you decide you want to quit, then do it. And that's what I did. I just quit instead of waiting until. So I guess it's the same thing with exercising and brushing your teeth. It's just train your brain to think, to do it. Life ain't over yet. Yeah, and I know. If I really want to make it to, let's say, 90, that's 20 more years. That's I don't have any. Well, yes, I do have an uncle that's 92, but I've never had many of my grandparents, great grandparents, that they were in their 80s, most of them. So even if I could, it's getting sad when you can count on your fingers how many years you have left. And when you're in your 20s and 30s, you think about you can live forever, sort of thing. You don't even think about it. But yeah, life ain't over yet. I'm still kicking. I wake up in the morning and I thank the Lord that, hey, my eyes are open. I've got another day. Thank you. So that's what I'm hoping anyway. And I know it's all in your mind, and it seemed like I am a bit overweight. I'm not super fat, but yeah, yes, I am overweight. And I was on this one diet, the whole food plant based diet. Now I like that. It worked for me. It doesn't work for everyone. Worked for me. I lost a lot of weight and got off all my medications, all my diabetic medications completely. I got off all of them, and then fell off the wagon. And here we are back to slightly overweight again. I even ate something tonight I'm not supposed to have, like pasta. Yes, I had pasta tonight with hamburger meat in mixed in, and onions and stuff. The onions are good, but it's the meat in it that I shouldn't have had. You smoke. Now, hang on. God Or no, let's put it this way. Man created booze. God created weed. Who do you trust? Now, actually, weed has a lot of benefits. People don't understand this. It's good for glaucoma. It's good for asthma. It's good for, believe it or not, asthma. You would think, what? Uh, Weed is good for a lot of things. But like I think I told you, there was a point in time where maybe 20 years solid of my life where every single day, all day long. And that's my problem is I would wake up in the morning, my head would come off the pillow, I'd look for my joint, I would smoke. And then I was that way all day long until just before, like, I go to bed, I have another joint, and that's it. And all day long, every day, for 20 years. And it's just the way I am, unfortunately. I know I wouldn't mind uh, having a smoke, and then that's good for the day or the night, or you want to watch a movie, or you want to do something, or you know, just to enjoy that. I love the smell of marijuana, and I love the taste of it. And my problem is I haven't smoked now for several months, 6 months more than that, because I'm here and it's illegal here, and I don't want to, jeopardize that. But when I go back, it's perfectly legal. You buy it in all the corner stores. The only thing is, when I get started, I can't quit then. I just, I want to keep going. And I'm not one of them people that, I've had some friends that when they smoke, they want to go to sleep, or they want to vegetate. I'm the opposite. I'm more alert. I know you're not really supposed to be driving with that, but I used to drive and smoke at the same time, or that's illegal. Um, but I feel I can actually drive better because I'm more alert and more conscious of. I know some people would say, but it's impaired. You're impaired. You can't judge. Well, I actually beg to differ in that respect, anyway. Just find your balance. Small, yeah, I know, small portions. You're right. I know about that. And I ate a big portion tonight. And as a matter of fact, on the whole food plant based diet, when you eat, that's it. I can eat pasta, rice, potatoes, all the things that a diabetic is not supposed to have, because most people they think carbohydrates not good for diabetic. That's a misnomer too. That's false. That those kind of carbohydrates are, and I have people that come into my lives and tell me, oh no, you shouldn't be eating that stuff. Well, I never tell people what to eat and what not to eat. You eat what you want to eat. But for me, that works. Might not work for all. That's why there's 300 different kinds of diets in the world. Um, some work for some people, some work for other people. This happens to work for me. And I would fill up my plate with pasta because that Dr. McDougall tells you that the amount of food doesn't matter. It's not the amount of food that matters. It's what you eat is that matters. So pasta, I'd fill up my plate full of pasta or rice. It's all depends on what you put on it, and potatoes of all different kinds, mashed potatoes, baked potato, whatever. Um, and I lost 50 pounds, and he said again, don't exercise. Just let the food, just let it throw your glucose meter away. Don't check your blood sugar. Your blood sugar is supposed to go up when you eat. That's the whole idea, is not to keep it constant. For me, though, a type 2 diabetic, when it goes up, takes a long time to come back down, whereas a normal person, it comes down faster. My body produces way too much insulin. That's the whole thing. on a type 1 diabetic, they get no insulin. So my body's producing sugar on its own and not letting it go into the cells to do its job. And the reason it's not going into the cells to do its job is because I'm eating too much fat. That might be hard for some of you to actually believe this, but that's how, in a nutshell, that's how your cells work. Is there's two doors on your cells. One door is for the glucose to go in and nourish your cell, but they can't get in the door because they don't have a key. And how do you open that door? Well, insulin opens that door. Insulin opens that door from the inside. Insulin has its own door. It goes in, opens up the other door, glucose goes in. Now your cell is nourished. But insulin can't even get in because it's blocked with fat, plugged up. So stop eating fat. Now insulin can get in. That's how come I lost that weight. I didn't even try to exercise and I lost 50 pounds. The first time I tightened my belt one hole, I didn't even realize I was losing weight. I just tightened up one hole and I thought, oh, okay. And then time went on further and I tightened up another notch. And that's when I realized, what? I've tightened up 2 notches on my belt. I lost weight. Then I go to the doctor and he says, you can't be taking these metformin and all these diabetic pills because you're going to have a risk of your insulin, your blood sugar going too low. So he took me off all of them. I think you're going to take things up a notch when you go back home. Time to start enjoying your everyday. I know it's going to go fast too. Whether you're booking another vacation or doing more things for yourself. And I've actually went out with a friend of mine last night, and I said, as a 70-year-old man, and he said, 70? You're 70 years old? He said, you don't even look or act like you're 70. And I said, I know. I have aches and pains and stiff and stuff just like a 70-year-old person. Like I have diabetes, it's a serious thing. Diabetes is not fun to have, especially when you start getting neuropathy, because you cannot fix nerves that are dead. Nerves don't regenerate. Some people think, well, it's like a muscle. You exercise your nerve and it'll grow back again. No, it doesn't grow back again. Nerves are, when they're dead, they're dead. That's it. I've got to send you a ticket. What did Sharon say here? I've got to send you a ticket to about a lady that's stoned getting the blue light by a cop. I don't know what you mean by that one, Sharon, but send it. A ticket, what do you mean? Can you send it through the computer somehow? Or a link or something? I'm interested. Bear fat is crazy healthy. Have you ever seen, have you shot a bear? Have you ever seen what it looks like when it's skinned? Looks like a human being laying there. We used to go hunting all the time and we shot a bear, skinned it for its skin, but then it looks like a human being when it's got no skin anymore. My goodness. Holy smokes. Yeah, let's get every day, every other day is a clogging us up. Yeah, now, like I said, this Dr. McDougall, if you don't, and I tell people, don't listen to me because nobody listens to me anyway. Uh, Look it up yourself. Look up Dr. McDougall and his method and read about it or whatever have you. And if you never want to learn about anything, how do you know you're right when you don't know what other people are thinking and doing? I'm glad you for off of metformin. My mom got real sick from that. Yeah, metformin. I'm still on metformin. I'm on 4 metformin a day. And when I go back, it's pretty hard to avoid meat in Mexico. There's meat in every single thing. They even make cookies, like cookies and pasta, not pastas, desserts, which have meat in them. I bought some of these things that looked like it was a dessert sugar. I thought it was sugar, but it had meat in it. It's pretty hard to avoid meat here. So when I go back anyway, I should discipline myself with that, like I do my brushing my teeth, is stay away from portion sizes and avoiding. Well, the whole food plant based diet is absolutely no meat whatsoever. So take meat out of your diet, take dairy out of your diet, and take eggs out of your diet. And people would say, what the hell do you eat then? Where do you get your protein from? Well, you don't need protein from meat. You can get tons of protein. As a matter of fact, when I went on that diet, I just did it cold turkey. I stopped eating meat altogether. No dairy at all. No eggs at all. I ate pasta, rice, beans, potatoes, um, and it didn't take me long. And I lost 50 pounds, not even trying. I never exercised, but I lost 50 pounds and I got off all my medications. And that's the thing. If you have diabetes, type 2, I'm talking about. Type 1, you can't cure. Type 2, you can. And people say, no, you can't cure type 2 diabetes. Well, yes, you can. If you're taking metformin or whatever it is for your type 2 diabetes, and you discipline yourself on your dietary intake, and the doctor says, we have to take you off of these medications. Now you're not on any medications for at least a year. Are you still diabetic? Maybe on the underlying, yes, but if you don't take any medications for diabetes, you are not a diabetic. So that's the whole thing. You're not a diabetic if you don't have to take medications for it. And it's not that you're totally cured. You go back to eating probably the wrong things. And yes, because you're more susceptible to it. Some people can eat, there's diets out there that they take you off of vegetables and put you on meat, a meat diet. It's like keto or all those kinds of diets. I don't like those because you're missing something. In the diet, your body has to make up for what you're missing. Whereas on a whole food plant based, that's what it's exactly meaning. A whole food plant based, vegetables and beans, and rice and pasta and things like that's what humans used to eat before fast food came along. The Chinese, rice, that's what they lived on for centuries. The Mayans lived on maize and corn. The Russians lived on potatoes. Um, Even pastas were Japanese and Chinese made. It wasn't made in Italy or where people think it's an Italian dish. Um, all societies lived on those kinds of starch foods, starch. And starch got a bad name because that's something you put in your clothes to make it stiff. It just got a bad name altogether. And try to take the beef industry and stop the beef industry. That's an impossibility. You can't do that. You would never have ranchers that want to give up their beef. That's millions and millions and millions of dollars. Oh, I'm missing all my sorry for your typos. I'm missing some of the chat window here because I was far behind. Um, Mushrooms are probably good for you. I just don't like the texture of mushrooms. What about mammoth meatballs? Lab grown. Yeah, no way. Would natural meat make a difference? Natural meat. I'll have to look up why meat is not good for a whole base plant whole food plant based diet. I'll have to look it up why it is, even if it's a lean meat. I think it's because it doesn't matter what it is, meat has fat. If you eliminate all the fat from your diet, you can not only let your, if you're type 2 diabetes, diabetic, a normal person, forget it. They're different. But if you're diabetic, I'm talking about. Um, Not only that, I can cure you from having a heart attack. So you can never ever have a heart attack. And how do you do that, you say? Is stop eating fat altogether. The fat you eat is the fat you wear. And every single blood vessel in your body has an enzyme thinner than 1,000th of a hair thickness around your veins. That's why when you walk upstairs or you do exercise, your heart pumps harder, your veins enlarge, and allows more blood to go through to keep you going. Well, that's the whole idea. Is that's what that enzyme does. It opens your blood vessels. So that enzyme is like 1/1000th of a hair thickness, and fat attacks that enzyme, and that enzyme is around your blood vessels. So when fat attacks that, leaves a hole which allows cholesterol to build up, and now it punches a hole in your veins, and that's where cholesterol will now build up and plug your vein. If I'm talking about, maybe I don't know how long that takes, but I'm not a doctor, so I know. Snow devs about getting your feet cut off. I have neuropathy in my feet, and it's just like that. When you're a diabetic, you should understand that you're gonna, if you don't watch it, it's inevitable. You're gonna have to get your feet removed up to your knees or even higher. The time that you feel your toes getting numb, or you feel that, it's already kind of too late. It's taken 10 years to get to that point. You've had diabetes for more than 10 years to get to that point. So once you're feeling that, like I said, the nerves, you can like grow new nerves and things, but those nerves are dead. So you'll always have that feeling. It's like when people get their, when they do get, let's say you get your leg amputated at the knee, people still feel itchy, or they feel pain on that foot, which is not there anymore. But they feel it way down in their toes, which is amazing. Or you get an arm amputated, but you can still feel your fingers. It's simply amazing. And I still have pretty good feeling in my feet, in the bottom of my feet. But that's when they say, like, when you cut your feet or something and you don't feel it, and then you look at your feet and there's a big sore there. Well, that's pretty serious. I've had several friends of mine that had their feet removed because of diabetes. And I do feel it in my legs all the time. When I feel it, like right now, in my calves, and it, you feel there's something wrong. You are off to bed. I don't even know what time it is. I will enjoy my rest of my time here. 5 more weeks, and I'm going. It's going to go faster as I want to make it go slow. Thank you, Vicky. Love you, sister. Love your your video that you sent. Thank you very much. I'm trying my best and hope I don't fall off no more wagons. So thank you for coming in. If nobody's told you they loved you today, let me be the first. If not the first, let me be the second. God told you first. Love you. And Snowdeb said a lot of his friends had their feet cut off. Yes, I know. I believe you. Oh, I missed some. Terry got a bear, and she's doing tanning the. Be able to put that bear rug in your floor. Next week she's tanning the hide. Oh, cool. And Sharon said TikTok. I missed that too. Mushrooms. I think it's called phantom pain. Amputees have phantom pains. They actually feel their toes. I've had a friend say his toes were itchy, but he don't have a foot. He didn't even have a leg from just above the knee. But he said he could feel his toes were itchy to scratch. How do you scratch your toes when you don't even have a foot? Well, it's not funny, but yeah, wow, amazing. And I don't want to get to that point, but I don't know how to stop it. Usually, when I look at my glucose numbers, they look almost kind of normal. But that's the whole point. When my blood sugar goes up because I've eaten something, doesn't matter what you eat, your blood sugars goes up, and that's the whole idea. Is you need um, your cells need nutrition, and it's sugar is what they live on. But when mine goes up, it probably goes up higher than normal, and it takes longer to come back down. So that's the whole thing, is to not have it go up too high, and to try to get it to come down. I don't know how you can get it to come down. You can make it go up pretty quick by eating sugar, but how do you make it come down? Exercising won't make your blood sugar come down any faster. It's too bad you can't eat something and it comes down. And even if you don't eat, like when you go to sleep at night, about what did they say, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, your blood sugar goes up really high by itself. So, and you're doing nothing, you're sleeping. Even on normal people, everybody, their blood sugar goes up when you're sleeping at night. So when you're a diabetic and it goes up, well, it takes a long time to come back down again. Not good, not fun. I have I don't think it's called phantom things, but I have my toes feel my feet feel funny. Zachary, Zachary, egg Zachary. Egg Zachary. What the heck time is it? I got this on full screen, so I can't see the time. It's 10, well, 9:53. 7 minutes to 10. So maybe I'm gonna end my live stream at 10 to give you guys a chance to go and do something else, as opposed to just sitting here and listening to me talk. And sometimes I sound like I know what I'm talking about. But I always say, don't believe me. Check it out, and hopefully people won't criticize me for saying that. Oh, this is the way it should be. This is the gospel. The way um, you should be thinking my way. That's not my intention at all. My intention is for you to go have a look for yourself and to just say, "Oh no, you're wrong, Wayne. That's not right." You're interested in that diet you were talking about. Well, his name is Doctor McDougall. Now let me just see if I can type it in here. McDougall. I don't know if this is correct spelling, but look up Doctor McDougall. Chuck said you're right and I was wrong. Okay, John, fill me in now here. We talking about Chuck from Vancouver? Um, Life of Chuck. Now, what do you mean? Chuck said you're right and I'm wrong. Like, do you mean he said that to you? He says you're right and he's wrong, or did he say that about me? That I'm because I haven't talked to him in. Yeah, he is in a condo now and not in his van anymore. Um, well, he used to have like a gasoline bicycle. I don't know if he has an e-bike now or not, but yeah, he's doing lots of stuff. Um, oh, Vicky's still in the house. Was just letting your video play out from the beginning, and I'll run it a bit. Stop, but I wanted to say I love that you did a video of yourself. Yeah, I'm going to keep doing videos of myself every month or every once a month just to see how my progression actually getting any better. Like, can I lift my arms up high enough, or can I bend over far enough? Am I actually improving, or what? So that's what my goal is there, Vicky, to keep tabs. And it's another way of training my mind to. It's got to be repetition. I have to keep pushing at it, or I'll fail. No, we can't have fail in the vocabulary. We can't have that. So anyway, Dr. McDougall there, Sharon. Um, you would not believe it if you're trying to lose some weight, if you're just trying to improve your life, and if you like those kinds of foods, eh, like eating just potatoes. One guy in Australia ate just potatoes 3 times a day for a whole year. Potatoes only. Now, potatoes with gravy, like a mashed potato, but not your regular gravy, a gravy that they make. I have a cookbook. No, I have a book at home. It's the one with the potato on the front with a tape measure going around the potato. Starch. He believes in starch. And I think he's actually come across something that actually works for people. Matter of fact, when you go to his clinic and you're a diabetics, that's what he's about, is he takes you off your medication right away, cold turkey. You're off of your medication, whether you take a needle or not. And then he puts you on that whole food plant-based diet, and then he checks you out in a week to see if your diabetes is improving or getting worse or better. And then if you need to, he'll put you back on some uh, medications again. But the whole idea is to not look at your glucose meter and don't check your blood sugar. It's just eat the foods and know that your blood sugar is going to go up. And as a matter of fact, when you first start on the diet, it'll probably go up higher than normal because you're eating um, carbohydrates are good for diabetics. And a lot of people say you avoid carbohydrates. Well, I don't think you've really learned the whole thing if you're going to say that. Even the diabetic nurses are taught in school about. Uh, I'm thinking they've trained the wrong way. Mick Poutine, poutine makes my blood sugar go through the roof. That's got cheese and gravy and probably all the things in there that's totally against my. Oh, you never said, John, about what you meant about what John uh, Chuck was saying. Did he say that to you that you're right and I'm wrong, or did he say that about me? He says Wayne's right and he's wrong. And why would he do that? Because I haven't talked to him in I don't know how many. I won't. Oh, I went over my. It's past 10 o'clock, or it is 10 o'clock. Fried potatoes with cheese curds and gravy. Yeah, potatoes in there would be good, but you can eliminate the cheese and the gravy. Too bad. I love poutine too, but that's I ate that one time and then checked my blood sugar after the fact, and wow, she went high, like way too high. I've avoided all that and not lost any weight. Well, this if you check out Dr. McDougall again, like I say, and you can eat till it come out. As a matter of fact, you can eat potatoes. You can eat so many grams of one food, and it'll fill your stomach up this much of your whole stomach. You eat that same amount grams of potatoes, and it will fill up your stomach and then come out your mouth. That's how much you can eat of potatoes before you have too much of whatever. Oh, John, you say you forget. Okay, that's okay. Maybe he was talking about me. I don't know. Although I haven't talked to Chuck in such a long time, a couple of years. I'm subscribed to him, but I haven't. He hasn't popped into mine, and I pop into his thing videos every once in a while. But I lost weight 2 years ago, being 99% average strain. Well, I hope you really look into this Dr. McDougall thing and check it out, and let me know what you think when you read a little bit about it and what he has to say. Doesn't mean you have to do what he has to say. It's just see what he has to say. That's the whole idea. And I would tell other people about McDougall. They wouldn't even go look, and then they would come back and criticize me. Like, what happened to this not judging someone? I don't judge anyone for the kind of diet they go on. If that's what works for you, that's what works for you. That's the whole thing. I'm talking about for me, this diet of eating starchy foods. I don't need to have people come on and say, don't eat that stuff, because for me it worked. I know. And that's the thing. My diets before that were like eat a small amount of meat, like the size of a playing cards, stack of cards, and a little bit of potatoes, but lots of salad. Well, to me, that seemed like I called it a bird food diet. It's like you take spinach. I don't even really like spinach, but you put spinach in a soup or something. You put hands full of spinach in a soup and you cook it. And all of a sudden, you don't even see the spinach. It's down to nothing. Well, that you could eat all that spinach and put it in your stomach until it's coming out your throat. And in a little while, it's going to go gone to nothing because it just not enough to keep. You can't live on salads. There's not enough in it. But if you like rice and beans and pasta and potatoes, you can eat that till it comes out your ears. and you can still lose weight. That's the whole thing. I'm I got to get back on that diet. I keep kicking myself in the ass because um, I used to be on that diet, and matter of fact, the dietitian nurse, she said, "You can't go on that diet." And I said, "Well, it's not like I'm taking some pills all the time. Let me try it for a few months." And I tried it, and I lost all that weight. And I went back, and she said, "We got to take you off your medications because you're in risk of putting your blood sugar too low. So we'll take you off all your medications." And she said, "By the way, what have you been eating?" And I told her all the things that you told me not to eat. Don't eat pasta. Don't eat rice. Don't eat potatoes. All them starchy things. Don't eat that stuff. Well, I said, there you go. I ate that for a couple of months, and look, I've lost 50 pounds. 50 pounds, and I didn't even try. Keto, a lot of people really believe in keto, but look up keto and what your body is lacking because of keto. Now, your body has to make up for that somehow. It has to, whereas you will absolutely need nothing when you use Dr. McDougall's whole food plant based. You'll get, people would say you don't eat meat. Well, how do you get your protein? Well, what does a cow eat? A cow eats grass. Where does he get his protein from? He makes it he makes it in his meat from something, from the grass he eats. So there is something called nutritional yeast. That stuff is full of protein. If you want to keep your protein high, put a bit of nutritional yeast on your cornflakes in the morning, or put it in your porridge, or put it in your soup, put it on your potatoes. Nutritional yeast is full of protein, and you can get all the vitamins you need. I do have to take supplement vitamins, um, like vitamin B. I'm lacking in vitamin B. I don't get enough of. So that's probably a biggest cause of my problems is vitamin B12, vitamin B6, and vitamin B. There's another one, the B. I should be taking more of that. Is what I should do. I keep telling myself I should be doing all these things, and I don't do it either. But anyway, Sharon, I'm glad that you're interested and have a look. Just don't take my word for it and see what he says. And if, like I said, if you don't like what he says, you don't have to do anything about it. That's totally up to you. But beans and rice or beans and grain makes a protein. Well, there you go, John. There you go. Beans and rice and beans um, and grain. Right on. I didn't know that either. What's wrong with my mouse? My mouse don't work. Anyways, guys, I think I'm going to end it now. Uh, EV Mux is telling me it's getting close to my end of my time. So I'm going to end this. And it was nice talking to you all. And I love you all for coming in. And I don't know, maybe it's a repetition, but if nobody's told you they loved you today, let me be the first or the second. I know God's told you they loved you today already. And so let me be the second at least to tell you I love you guys um, very much. From the bottom of my heart, I love you all. And thank you for coming in and sticking around, and spending your hard earned time out of your day to come and listen to my humble live stream. I love you all. I'm looking on my iPhone now. I love beans and rice. There you go. You got yourself a meal for your next meal. Eat beans and rice. I love rice too. Um, and it all depends on what you put on these things. Like I don't like just plain white rice. It's not the white or the brown rice that matters. If you don't like the brown rice, which I don't, you can eat the white rice. The white rice is just as good for you. As a matter of fact, if you're going to eat sugar, the sugar you should eat is the white granular sugar, the stuff that's on your table. White granular sugar is for a diabetic. It's a myth. A lot of myths out there that are just totally wrong. And if you study these things, and you'll find out why. Anyways, okay, guys. All right, Sharon and John, if you're the only ones left in the house, thank you for coming in, and we'll see you on Sunday if you're here. If you're not, we'll see you on Monday if you're there. You're usually on Discord on Mondays, but Sundays was a bad day for Michael. What he was saying, Sundays is a bad day for him, but that's that just happens to be when I happen to go on, and I don't want to change, so I'll leave that. But anyway, yeah. Anyways, thanks for coming in again, and stay awesome, everybody, and be cool and be kind. And we'll catch you guys all on the next one. Stay safe.